Thank you so much for being with us today. My name is Reverend David Douglas. Welcome to Signs of the Time. Today, we're going to be talking about the rise of Turkey in Bible prophecy, the country of Turkey. You know, we can see today the signs of Christ's coming are all around us. We can see where the Bible is being fulfilled right before our very eyes. But today, as we look at Turkey, we can see things within the scriptures that actually point us to the country of Turkey and how it relates to Bible prophecy. And even today, talking about modern Turkey, how that today the present president of Turkey, President Erdogan, he has a desire to bring back, to revive the Ottoman Empire. The Ottoman Empire, I believe, was mainly based out of Turkey. You know, it conquered a lot of lands, and it established Islam in a lot of these countries. And I believe from around the year 1299 until about 1923, the Ottoman Empire was established and ruled during that time. But as we look into the scriptures to see, you know, how does Turkey relate to Bible prophecy, I believe that we're seeing things even take place today. But looking back at the prophet Ezekiel in chapter 38 and verse number 2, and I know that I have preached about the battle of Gog of Magog and about all these different countries, but I want us to kind of go back to Ezekiel 38 and let's look at verse 2. God is speaking to Ezekiel and he's saying, "Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him." Now, I believe Gog here is the leader of this invading army. And I believe that looking at these nations in Ezekiel chapter 38, every one of them are Muslim nations. They are the nations that surround Israel. And there's no, what I would say, if, ands, or buts about it. These are Muslim countries. And I'm going to go ahead and say this in the beginning of this from my heart. When I talk about the things that I'm fixing to talk about the nation of Turkey, I'm not against any people. I'm not against any nationality. I believe that there are good people in all nations. But you know, sometimes in these regimes and within the government, I mean, even in our own government here in the United States, there, you know, is corruption. And I'm not saying that there's corruption today, you know, in Turkey, but there's going to be a rise. There's going to be where God is, the scriptures are going to be fulfilled. And this nation is going to be in the forefront of a lot of these Bible prophecies. The Ottoman Empire actually was one of the, I believe, the strongest Islamic caliphates that probably was ever in existence. And I believe even in the land of Israel, somewhere in the 7th century, these Islamic caliphates. And I know that there's been several. And, they had invaded Israel. They had invaded, these other lands and nations. We're going to talk about that, in just a little bit. But he goes on and say that he was going to turn him back, kind of like put a hook in his jaw, and bring him back into the land of Israel. Like I said, even the Ottoman Empire, ruled and reigned even in the land of Israel. But it was dissolved, so to speak, fell apart around 1923, somewhere right after World War I. And it became, instead of like what we would say a caliphate, which I believe that the government and the nations, if I've studied this right, the caliphate, wants to bring about what they call in the Muslim world Sharia law. And we've heard of that lately. So he goes on even to say, about these other nations that that was going to invade Israel. He talked about Persia, which is modern-day Iran, Ethiopia, which is actually modern-day Sudan, maybe even Ethiopia, but mainly Sudan, and Libya, which is actually Libya. Goes on even to say about Gomer and Togarmah, which was in the north quarters. And he said, thou shalt come from thy place out of the north part. A lot of people in Bible prophecy believes that Gog and even Magog is actually Russia. But I disagree with that today. And I mean, it's okay. You can disagree with me. I mean, it's okay. Sometimes, we just have to agree to disagree. But I do not believe that Magog, the land, is Russia. And I don't believe that this leader is Putin. And I'm not even saying right now that Gog is actually President Erdogan. I don't know. Only God knows. But there will be a leader to rise up in the land, he said, who is the chief prince. And a lot of people come about Russia being Magog because there is one translation that would bring in the term Rosh, who is the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal. But Rosh here is not Russia. Rosh, in the interpretation, when it is interpreted right, actually means chief or first. Just like the Jews celebrate Rosh Hashanah, if I'm pronouncing that right, which means, they celebrate, their New Year's, the beginning, the first. So Rosh here is not Russia. Meshech is not Moscow. But they say, and God said here, that thou is going to come from a place of the north part, from the northern parts. And you say, well, Russia is north of Jerusalem. Is it really? When you look at the North Pole, and I've seen some to do it, and I have even done it. The North Pole, I believe, which is, there as far as somewhere, there in the Arctic Ocean. That is the direction of the north. When you draw a line from Jerusalem to the North Pole, you don't go through Moscow. Guess where you go through? You go through Ankara, which is the capital of Turkey. So, looking back at the table of nations, in Genesis chapter 10, the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, the sons of Japheth, get this, was Gomer, was Magog, Tubal, and Meshach. Genesis 10:13, the sons of Gomer. One of them that was mentioned here in Ezekiel 38 was Togarmah. So we know that Noah and his wife and his three sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and their three wives was in that ark. And when the waters subsided, when land began to appear, the ark landed on top of a mountain called Ararat, which is actually in eastern Turkey. Some have even said that they have seen the ark. Some said that it's so hard to get to it because of this mountain range. But I believe that it's possibly there. But according to history, Japheth settled in an area, and one of the ancient even names of Turkey is Anatolia. It's also known as Asia Minor. This is where Paul did most of his preaching. This is where John preached and spoke to the 7 churches of Asia Minor. Those areas, those cities, and where those churches were is actually in western Turkey. So the land of Magog is not Russia, it is modern day Turkey. I mean, you can look at Bible atlases, such as one, the IVP Bible Atlas. Let me just name a few: the New Moody Bible Atlas, the Holman Bible Atlas, and the Zondervan Bible Atlas, and they may be others. These atlases show the land of Magog. Get this. The land of Magog, and even Meshach and Tubal, Gomer and Togarmah are all in Turkey. Every one of them. Not Russia. Now, it's not saying that Russia will not be involved, because this invasion talked about even other people with you. When he was speaking against Gog, the chief priest of Meshach and Tubal, he was the leader. So I don't know what man that this is going to be. And like I said, I'm not saying that it is President Erdogan. But it could be shaping up as far as, because it is his desire. And you can look at it in news articles. You can Google it. You can research it for your own self. He wants to revive the Ottoman Empire. You know, it's been dissolved since 1923, and we just came from that 100-year anniversary. So we could be right on the verge, because there's a lot of things that has taken place, you know, in the government. I mean, he's been president, you know, for a good while now in Turkey. He might be, I mean, even right on his way of dictatorship. You know, I don't know. I know there's been coups. There's been those, you know, even to try to take over, but they've been stopped. And there's just a lot of other things that I'm not really going to bring out, you know, right now, you know, that has taken place. But, I mean, he is a full-blooded Muslim. I know Turkey is a republic, and it's been a republic for just, you know, 100 years now. So, but these Bible atlases show the land of Magog, Meshach, and Tubal, Gomer, and Togarmah are all in Turkey. And the leader of this northern invasion was what they call the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, who was from the land of Magog. So he's going to be from Turkey, not Russia. But like I said, Russia may be involved. I mean, there's talks, and there's been getting together for with Turkey, Russia, and Iran. We've seen that in the news. But Turkey is rising. It's got one of the most powerful, probably the most powerful military in the Middle East. If I remember right, I believe it's got the 10th largest military in the world. I mean, it's powerful. It is nuclear. I mean, they got nuclear weapons. So Turkey is rising, and the president, again, I want to say it again, the president of Turkey, President Erdogan, wants to revive the Islamic Caliphate, which was dissolved in 1923. If you don't take my word for it, like I said, research it for yourself. It was also called, like I said before, the Ottoman Empire. It actually lasted about 600 years. Now, going back to the book of Daniel, Daniel chapter 2, Nebuchadnezzar's dream of this metallic image. You remember it. We studied it in Sunday school. We've been in church and been a part of Christianity. You know, most of our lives, we know about the dream of Nebuchadnezzar and this metallic image. The head of gold was interpreted as Babylon. The breast and arms of silver was the Medo-Persian Empire. The belly and thighs of brass was Greece. But there was a fourth kingdom according to Daniel 2:40. And you could find this, you know, I love the New Living Translation that says this, that the fourth kingdom, you know, was the legs of iron. Said this fourth kingdom will smash and crush all previous empires. Just as iron smashes and crushes everything it strikes. The fourth kingdom, get this, and I know you got it in your Bible and in some of the headings, you know, that man has put there. It's not in the scripture, but it's in some of the headings of interpretation. The fourth kingdom is not Rome. Why? Because they did not fully conquer Babylon. But they went back to the Mediterranean Sea. You could find this again in the Babylonian kingdom, you know, map. It does not now. It did go there into Babylon, modern day Iraq, right around the Euphrates River, up and down for about a year, you know, in war. But they could not defeat a group there called the Parthians. Even one of their military commanders had a stroke and died. And there was another one took over. And he seen where they could not defeat this group in Babylon. So the Roman Empire pulled back. And I know you'll say, well, there's a western leg and an eastern leg. You know, we may get into that in just a little bit. But when you look up even in Iran's history and even ask them, some of their scholars, Rome did never conquer Persia, Medo-Persian Empire. They never conquered Iran, never did. But the fourth kingdom said will crush all previous empires. It's going to crush Babylon. It's going to crush Medo-Persia. It's going to crush Greece. And but when you look at an Islamic Caliphate map, as an Islamic empire map, it will cover the lands of the Babylonian Empire. It will cover the land of the Medo-Persia Empire and even the Grecian Empire. So the fourth kingdom is not Rome, but the fourth kingdom, that kingdom we'll talk about a little bit later, about Revelation 17, said the fourth kingdom here in Daniel, I believe, is the Islamic Caliphate Empire. And the Ottoman Empire, again, that started in 1299, then dissolved in 1923, was one of the most powerful caliphates that they were. So, Daniel chapter 7, Daniel had a dream and a vision, and God showed Daniel 4 kingdoms also. Each one of these kingdoms was represented by an animal. He showed him a lion, which represented the Babylonian kingdom. He showed him a bear raised up, on one side, which had 3 ribs in its mouth, which represented the Media-Persia kingdom. Then he saw a leopard which had 4 wings like a fowl. This represented the Grecian Empire of Alexander the Great. And after he died, those 4 wings represented the 4 generals after Alexander died. And they fought and they warred. And each one of them was gained some land, 4 kingdoms. Cassander, which had Greece, Lysimachus, which had Turkey area, Seleucus, which had the Seleucid dynasty, which was one of the largest, and I believe the others were dissolved, as far as Cassander and Lysimachus. And then there was Ptolemy, which had Egypt. But the main one that kept warring back into in Daniel chapter 11 was the Seleucid dynasty and the Ptolemy dynasty. The Ptolemy dynasty was in Egypt, and the Seleucid dynasty was actually in, get this, its capital, its headquarters was Antioch. Guess where Antioch is today? In Turkey. But the Seleucid dynasty was actually, part of Turkey, Syria. The Antichrist is even called the Assyrian, which came from the land of Nimrod. Micah chapter 5. Then it went on into Iraq and even Iran. Just like, even like Alexander. So, and the 4 beasts, this 4th beast, the Bible called him an exceeding terrible beast that had iron teeth, which represent what I believe, again, is the Islamic Caliphate. This beast had 10 horns. Then a little horn came up from among the 10. I believe that these 10 horns are the 10 confederation nations, probably are going to be Muslim countries, which are going to make up later, as far as in prophecy, the Antichrist kingdom. And among the 10 horns, while those 10 nations are coming together, a little horn's going to appear, which will be the Antichrist, which will be that one world leader. And it's possible, and I believe that it will be, that the Antichrist will be a Middle Eastern man. And if you will notice, after each one of these 4th kingdoms, Daniel chapter 2 and Daniel chapter 7, after this 4th kingdom and even the revived 4th kingdom, Christ is going to set up his kingdom here on earth. That 4th and final kingdom, when we begin to see it, and it will, and I know that these kingdoms, like as far as Babylon, even Media-Persia, Greece, and, Rome, Rome was there, but that's not the 4th kingdom. Then the Islamic Caliphate came in around, the 7th century, and then a lot of it, like I said, was finally dissolved. Ottoman Empire, which I believe will rise again. Turkey will rise again. They will be, as far as in the forefront of all of this. They're in the news today. You might as well say there's some movement within that country. There's movement even, within Iran. Daniel chapter 8 is a real eye-opener. Now listen real close to this. Now bear with me. This may take a little bit of time. Some, stay with me till the end, please. Some of these verses, I did a word study on it. The Bible says, study the word to show yourself approved unto God, rightly dividing the word of truth, as a workman that needeth not to be ashamed. So I did a word study. There is one thing that I want to mention here, that in this vision and in a lot of these visions that Nebuchadnezzar had, that these dreams and visions that Daniel had, has two fulfillments, a near and a far fulfillment from Daniel's time. In verse 3, Daniel sees a ram with two horns, and one horn is higher than the other, just like the bear raised up on one side, higher than the other side. I believe he's seeing the Medo-Persian Empire. The Persian Empire was the higher horn on the ram, and the Medo-Persian Empire was the lower horn. And this ram, to get this, was pushing westward, which was Babylon, modern-day Iraq, northward, which could be Syria, southward, which could be somewhere, on the continent or the country of Saudi Arabia and even Egypt. Then in verse 5, Daniel saw a goat, a he-goat, coming from the west that was not touching the ground. And he saw the he-goat cast the ram to the ground and stomp on him. He saw the he-goat with that one notable horn was very great and very strong. The notable horn, it said, became broken. And then after the notable horn became broken, which was talking about Alexander, the Great dying. Then we know that we saw, even in past, and yes, it was fulfilled in the past. It was fulfilled when Alexander the Great conquered the Median-Persia kingdom. And the king then was King Darius III. Said the horn that was broken symbolized Alexander the Great died at a very early age of 32, and then his kingdom was divided up. Again, I'm repeating this, Cassandra, which had Greece, and Lysimachus had Turkey. Seleucid had the Syria area, and Ptolemy had Egypt. The little horn here has a dual fulfillment, two fulfillments. It was already fulfilled one time as Antiochus Epiphanes rose in power. And he did a lot of atrocious and evil and wicked things against Israel, defiled the temple, killed and destroyed, thousands of Jews. He was a type and foreshadow of the future Antichrist. So that was the near fulfillment. That's already happened, but there is a far distant fulfillment according to Daniel 8 and 17. Listen to this, New Living Translation. Son of man, he said, you must understand that the events you have seen in your vision relates to the time of the end. That is the main thing. The angel even told Daniel in one time, the reason that I'm coming to you, the reason that God sent me to you was to let you know what was going to happen to Israel in the time of the end. Yes, they have suffered for thousands of years. They have been persecuted. They have been one of the most hated and despised people, persecuted, killed, destroyed. The Holocaust, probably more than any other probably religion or people in the world. And I'm not exaggerating about that. Hitler killed over 6 million Jews. So, Daniel 8:19, New Living Translation said, then he said, I am here to tell you what will happen later in the time of wrath. This is in the end time. So, he said, what you have seen pertains, and he goes on to say, what you have seen pertains to the very end of time. That's Daniel 8:19, New Living Translation. So today, Medo-Persia is Iran. Up until 1935, Iran was known as Persia. See, verse 8, Chapter 8, actually fulfilling right before our very eyes. Iran is pushing westward, which is Iraq. They got, you might as well say, military, and these groups even in Iraq that has actually even been bombing and fighting, our own American troops. Pushing westward, which is Iraq, Lebanon, where Hezbollah is. Northward, which is Syria. Iran is on the move. The ram is on the move in that future fulfillment. And also pushing southward, which I believe is Yemen, where I think what they say this group called the Houthis are. And then Gaza. That Gaza Strip, that area, that group, attacked Israel. Hamas attacked Israel the other day. These groups are actually what you would say proxies that Iran is using against Israel today. Now, Alexander the Great in the past did have war with ancient Media Persia, and he won. He defeated them. He crushed them. But let's look at the he-goat real quick. This is where I did that word study, verse 21. The goat here is said was the kingdom of Grecia. So what the Lord is showing Daniel said mainly is about that far and that distant fulfillment from Daniel's time. But I did this word study, verse 21. Grecia or Greece in the Hebrew means Yavon. Strong's Concordant, the definition in Strong's says Yavon was the Ionians. For example, the Grecians. So, but it is actually, but is it, you say, well, is it modern Greece or what is it? Ionia is a district, like I said, Yavon was the Ionians. Ionia is a district on the western coast. And this is another ancient name, as I said in the beginning, of Turkey, Anatolia, which is now Turkey. So, Yavon is actually that western area of Turkey. Some of the islands, that are out there in the Aegean Sea. And so the Lord is saying, He is speaking of modern day Turkey. Talk about the time of the end. The ram's going to be pushing. The he-goat is going to be charging. There's going to be an invasion. So, another really amazing thing that really caught my attention, listen to this. God called this goat the he-goat. The Aegean Sea between Turkey and Greece is called, the Aegean Sea, which actually means the goat sea. There is something even more amazing when it comes down about this he-goat. The city of Istanbul, Turkey, which was also called one time Constantinople, after Emperor Constantine. But yet, going back even further, the ancient name of that city, it was the Greek city, was called Byzantium. The name is of a Thracian origin. Came from a Thracian personal name, Byzas. B-Y-Z-A-S, get this, which means he-goat. This is probably before, Istanbul, before the Byzantine, empire and kingdom. God knew the area. God knows, because He's the one that created all mankind. And according to Acts, made us all one blood. He has set those boundaries. Look at the table of nations. Look at how He scattered people all over the face of the earth at the Tower of Babel. Give these different groups their own language, set up the boundaries. That's where we got all of our languages, all of our nations. God set them up, and God knows how he's going to how he sees Turkey in end time prophecy, in which like I said again, I believe the land of Magog, Meshech, Tubal, Gomer, and Togarmah is in which is actually modern day Turkey. And you could take even those stand countries, and people, like I said, has taken what even Josephus said about Magog being the Scythian people, which migrated into Russia. But when you look at what used to be southern Russia, the stand countries broke away. I believe most of that nationality, when I've done research as far as those stand countries like Turkmenistan, and I can't pronounce all of them, but there's those nations there, those stand countries, are really Turkish nationality. And I believe that they're just a part, even though they got their own nation, but when it comes together, and when the Ottoman Empire is formed again, all these nations, the Muslim nations, I believe will come together in the end time. God saw it in Ezekiel. God is seeing about even these nations that surround as far as Israel. I mean, like I said, really all of them are Muslim countries. But like I said, this ancient name, ancient city, comes from the personal name Bazaz, which means he-goat. Said, even, this city may have changed its name 3 times, but yet it is in the same location today. It is still in the modern day of Turkey. So the he-goat today is Turkey. So I believe, we could see, things transpiring, right before our very eyes. Turkey's in the news. Turkey's in the headlines. The president is saying, things against Israel today. The president of Turkey is saying things against, Israel, attacking Hamas, but Israel is defending herself. What I'm fixing to say, and I believe it's just a theory and it's just a thought, but we know the Bible says that history repeats itself. Ecclesiastes 1:9, the things which has been, will be again. So it's already happened one time that the Grecian Empire defeated the Medo-Persian Empire. Could there be another future war between Turkey and Iran? Get this, Turkey is 90% Sunni, and Iran is 95% Shiite. The Sunnis and the Shiites, they do not get along. And I believe that's where the 2 legs of Nebuchadnezzar's image, the 10 toes, and how the feet, the iron mixed with clay, showing how that this 4th kingdom is divided. So Islam has been divided, for centuries now between the Sunnis and the Shiites. So could there be, there possibly could be, in the 8th chapter, we said the little horn of the past was Antiochus Epiphanes IV, who ruled from the ancient modern day Antioch, Syria, or the Seleucid dynasty. The little horn also, I believe, represents in the future Antichrist, that one world leader. But looking at Antioch today, it is in modern day Turkey. I have taught, and I have, that the Antichrist will come out of Syria. But I wonder, since I have studied this in depth, could the Antichrist arise out of modern day Turkey? I mean, somewhere, I believe, where the ancient Seleucid dynasty, it could be Turkey, it could be Syria, Iraq, but somewhere the Assyrian is going to rise. The Antichrist was even called the king of Babylon. When we see the beast rising out of the sea in Revelation chapter 13 said, it's rising, said it looks like a leopard. It said it's got a mouth like a lion and feet like bear. It's got feet like bear and a mouth like a lion. See, John was seeing it in reverse. What, Daniel was seeing, was going forward. He saw the lion, the bear, and the leopard. John in Revelation 13 saw the leopard, the body, the full body. I believe he's seeing these three kingdoms will come together in this landmass. It could be, and I really believe it'll be all them Muslim nations, around Israel. There at least will be 10 of them Muslim nations around Israel that will form as far as that last empire that I believe. But like I said, I believe Turkey will be right in the middle of it. So, but I'm not saying now get me real close here. I'm not saying that the present president of the nation of Turkey is the Antichrist. The Antichrist has not been revealed. I don't care. If the Antichrist was revealed today, the church would be taken out. According to 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, for it said, this day will not come, the day of the Lord. I believe the rapture, the gathering together unto him, that gathering, that rapture will not take place until there first be a falling away and the man of sin revealed. The Antichrist has not been revealed. People has done, but one day I believe he will be, and that's probably why people is trying to predict, trying to say who it is, but I'm not trying to say, I try to leave that as far as alone, but I believe that he will come from some Middle Eastern country. He will rise up, but I believe that we need to keep our eye on the nation of Turkey. Something I believe is on the horizon. Something will take place to bring all this into fulfillment. Revelation chapter 13 and verse 2. Now get this. This is another amazing fact that I found. That the dragon, who is Satan, will give to the beast, who is the Antichrist, his power, get this, his seat, and great authority. So where is Satan's seat? Is it in hell? I know I have preached, about Satan's throne being in hell. Jesus talked about the gates of hell, but I was saying that metaphorically, using that sort of symbolically. But Jesus said to the church at Pergamos, I know thy works, and where thou dwellest, even where Satan's seat is. He is saying that in Pergamos is where Satan's seat is, and that Satan would give his seat to the beast or the Antichrist for his rule here on earth. Pergamos, guess where Pergamos is at? It is in modern-day Turkey, in an area of what they call Bergama, which is a municipality and district of the Izmir province, Turkey. Now, a lot of these names I may not be pronouncing right, but I'm trying as far as my best. So we need to keep our eyes on Turkey when it comes to Bible prophecy. Turkey has been one of the largest and strongest, as I repeat this again, has been one of the largest and strongest militaries in the Middle East. Look this up for yourself. So again, I do not believe that Magog is Russia. Now, Russia may be involved. They may, help and give, some, military assistance. They may even give troops. Other people is going to be with this invading army. So, again, I don't believe that Magog is Russia. Not saying that Russia won't be involved with these Islamic countries. They're already being involved with them today. They're allies. But I believe that we're going to see the rise of Turkey in these last days. And when it comes down to Bible prophecy. I see the 10 toes of Daniel chapter 2 and the 10 horns of Daniel chapter 7 is going to be the revived Islamic Caliphate kingdom. Real quick, let's look at the 7 mountains in Revelation 17. The 7 mountains are 7 kings or 7 kingdoms. Revelation 7 and 17 and verse 10 said that there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen, 1 is, and the other is not yet come. He must continue a short space. There are 7 kingdoms that brought Israel under their rule. 5 are fallen. Here's the 5 that have fallen: Egypt, Assyria, Babylon, Greece. The one that is at the time that John wrote this was Rome. Yes, Rome. I mean, it's in there. This ought to make some people happy, when it comes down, because people's always trying to point to Europe, the European Union, to Europe. But yet, when it comes down to it, look at the Middle East. Look at these countries. God said so many times about the nations that surround Israel. He's going to bring them in there one day. They're going to come in. There's going to be thoughts to come in to this leader called Gog. Amen. There's going to be that invasion. There will be that Antichrist kingdom. So, the one that said, and then the other is not yet come, which is none other, called the kingdom that rose, the empire that rose after Rome was none other. And then there were several. What was the Islamic Caliphate? Then, like I said, the Ottoman Empire that was based out of Turkey. And they had so many of their leaders. The Caliph, I believe, it's like they go by the Sharia law as far as in their government. Said, which it extended and even had its dominion in Jerusalem, started in 638 AD, and then it ended with the Ottoman Empire, which had its rule for about, several hundred years, about right after World War I ended. Then the Ottoman Empire was fully abolished in 1923. You remember where it talked about the beast that had a deadly wound to the head? Could this wound, and it's like, that beast was resurrected, could that wound be the dissolving of the Ottoman Empire? I believe that it is. I believe that it was. That deadly wound, being wounded, was when that Ottoman Empire was dissolved, and then, the Republic. But then it talked about the amazement of the world, how that this deadly wound was healed. It's like he was resurrected. He come back. Could it be? I say, could it be? I believe that it will be. The revived Ottoman Empire, that wound being healed. Revelation 17 and 11 said, the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th and is of the 7, and goeth into perdition. The 8th and final earthly man-made kingdom is going to be the Antichrist kingdom, which I believe, I don't believe that it's going to be the Roman Empire. I believe that it will be the revived Islamic Caliphate Empire. I'm going to leave you with this, and this was a news article on September the 7th, the year 2022. And this is a quote coming from this article, said, Turkey is attempting to turn back the clock of history to revive the Ottoman Empire. I believe that Turkey will rise in power again. And I believe somewhere as far as in the near future, Turkey will rise according to Bible prophecy. So, the land of Magog, in my research, the land of Magog, is Turkey. Meshech and Tubal was in Turkey. Gomer and Togarmah was in Turkey. These are Noah's descendants, Japheth's son, Japheth's grandson. They all settled there. So Turkey, we're going to see the fulfillment of Turkey, the rise of Turkey again. Keep your eyes on Turkey, because it could be that Turkey shakes this world. Amen. So if you would, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I know this has been a little lengthy today. There's just a lot of information, as far as to try to cover. So I hope that you got something out of this. We need more subscribers, so please help me out as far as in subscribe. There's no charge to this. Please, this will help us out a lot. Give us a thumbs up. Our comments are open. Whether you agree or disagree, I'd still love to hear your comment, because there's some time that I even get a lot of things, from you when you comment. And please, keep your comments as far as, don't let them be hateful towards as far as any people. I did not do this as far as, to be against as far as the people of Turkey. I'm just letting you know that that Bible prophecy will be fulfilled. And I believe that the rise of Turkey, we're going to see it. We're going to see those scriptures being fulfilled. But always remember, folks, Jesus is coming soon. The signs of the time are all around us. And Jesus even said this, and I say it a lot at my closings of these videos. Jesus said, when you see these things come to pass, lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. Jesus Christ is coming back to earth again. God bless you is my prayer. Amen.